The music was loud. The chandelier lights were bright. People were laughing, taking pictures, holding shiny glasses. And in the middle of all that, a quiet girl stood at the door, holding her father's old phone in her hand. Her name was Mia. She was the driver's daughter. Across the hall, a man in a perfect suit raised his voice. "Who let her in here?" he shouted. Everyone turned and stared at Mia. That was the first moment. The moment that changed everything. Mr. Carter was a millionaire businessman. It was his big party. Rich guests. Famous people. Journalists. Influencers. His mansion looked like a palace. White marble floors. Huge staircase. Soft music mixed with loud fake laughter. Outside, in the driveway, Mia's father, Daniel, was parking cars. "Baba, can I just see the hall once?" Mia asked softly. Daniel looked at her tired eyes. She was wearing her best simple blue dress. No brand. No label. Just neat and clean. "Mia, this is not our world," Daniel whispered. She smiled sadly. "I know. Just for 1 minute. I studied so hard. I just want to see how rich people live." Daniel sighed. His hands were rough from years of driving. "Okay," he said. "Stand near the wall. Don't talk to anyone. If someone asks, say you are helping the staff. And please, don't get in trouble." Mia nodded. Her heart was beating fast. She walked slowly into the hall. Her eyes were wide. Crystal lights. Long table full of food. Cakes. Chocolates. Gold plates. She whispered, "Wow," to herself. On the other side, Mr. Carter was smiling at his guests. "Tonight," he said into the mic, "we celebrate success. Hard work. Class." The crowd clapped. At that moment, a waiter carrying drinks bumped into a guest. A glass slipped. Red juice splashed onto a rich girl's expensive white dress. The girl screamed, "Are you blind?" The hall went silent. The waiter panicked and stepped back. Mia was standing close. She reacted without thinking. "I'm so sorry," she said quickly. She grabbed a napkin and started wiping the juice from the dress. But the rich girl pulled away. "Don't touch me," she shouted. "Who are you?" Before Mia could answer, Mr. Carter walked over. His face was hard. "What is going on here?" he asked. The rich girl, Sophie, pointed at Mia. "She ruined my dress. Look what she did." Sophie cried. "She is not even staff. Look at her clothes." Every eye turned to Mia. Mr. Carter's gaze went from her face, to her simple dress, to her worn-out shoes. He frowned. "Who are you?" he asked coldly. Mia swallowed. Her hands were shaking. I'm Daniel's daughter, sir." "Your driver," she said softly. "The drink fell and Mr. Carter cut her off. "Driver's daughter," he said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "And you walk into my party like a guest." The guests started whispering. "She looks so ordinary. Why is she here? Probably wants free food." Mia felt her face burn. "I'm sorry, sir," she whispered. "I was just standing near the wall. I wanted to see the decorations. I didn't mean." Mr. Carter laughed, but it was an ugly laugh. "You wanted to see the decorations," he repeated. "This is not a museum. This is a private event. For my guests. Not for drivers. Not for their children." The mic was still in his hand. His voice echoed in the hall. Mia's throat felt tight. Tears came to her eyes. He stepped closer. "Look at your dress," he said, his eyes full of contempt. "Do you think you belong here? These people are wearing clothes worth more than your father's yearly salary." A few rich guests laughed softly. Mia looked down at her dress. She had stitched it herself. "Sir, please," she whispered. "Don't say that about my father. He works very hard." Mr. Carter snapped, "Don't talk back to me." He turned to security. "Take her out," he ordered. "If I see her inside again, both she and her father lose their place. Understand?" The guards walked towards Mia. Just then, Daniel ran in from the door. Sir, please," Daniel begged. "She's my daughter. It was my fault." I should not have let her come inside. Please don't fire me. We have no one else. I will send her home. Mr. Carter looked at him with cold eyes. You let her wander around my guests, he said. You're lucky I don't throw you out tonight. He pointed at the door. Both of you. Outside. Now. Mia looked up at him, tears falling down. I'm sorry, sir, she whispered. I did nothing wrong. He leaned in and said in a low, cruel voice. Your mistake is being born poor. That is enough. Mia's heart broke. Everyone heard. Someone recorded the whole scene on their phone. Daniel gently held his daughter's arm. Come, Beta, he said in a shaking voice. Let's go. They walked out, while the rich guests stared like they were watching a drama. As the doors closed behind them, the music started again as if nothing happened. But near the corner of the hall, one woman was still watching the door with serious eyes. Her name was Grace. She was not just a guest. She was the main investor in Mr. Carter's company. And she had heard every word. No one knew yet that this one cruel moment was about to destroy everything Mr. Carter was proud of. The next morning, Mr. Carter sat at his big office desk. He sipped his coffee and smiled while reading the news about his party. Successful event. Powerful businessman. New deals. He felt proud. Then his assistant, Leo, rushed in with a pale face. Sir, we have a problem, Leo said. Mr. Carter didn't look up. What problem? Did the flowers arrive? Sir, it's a video, Leo stuttered. From last night. Mr. Carter slowly raised his eyes. What video? Leo turned the laptop screen towards him. On the screen, there was the hall. The party. The guests. And then, it showed him shouting. Driver's daughter. Do you think you belong here? Your mistake is being born poor. The phone had captured every word. The comments were exploding. This is disgusting. How can someone talk like this? Boycott his companies. That girl did nothing wrong. The views were going up every second. Hundreds. Thousands. Millions. Leo swallowed. Sir, it's gone viral, he said softly. It's everywhere. News pages. Social media. People are tagging our sponsors. Mr. Carter's face went red. Who posted this? He shouted. Who recorded this? Leo shook his head. We don't know, sir. But, it's trending under Rich Bully Exposed. Mr. Carter's phone started ringing again and again. One call from a sponsor. One call from a journalist. One from his own PR team. Mr. Carter, you need to make a statement. This is bad for the brand. People are calling for a boycott. He slammed the phone down. Over one poor girl, he said angrily. People are too emotional. It will die in a day. But deep inside, there was a small, uncomfortable feeling. He ignored it. Meanwhile, in a small rented room across the city, Mia sat on the bed. The same video played on an old phone. Her hands were shaking. Turn it off, Mia, Daniel said softly. Please. But she couldn't. She watched herself. Standing. Shaking. Crying. She heard his words again. Your mistake is being born poor. She covered her face and sobbed. Barbara, why did he say that? She whispered. Am I really a mistake? Daniel's heart broke. He sat beside her and wiped her tears with his rough hand. Listen to me, he said gently. You are not a mistake. You are my pride. You topped your school. You study under a streetlight and still get the best marks. That man is rich in money, not in heart. But everyone saw, Mia cried. Everyone is laughing at me. He shook his head. Not everyone, Daniel said. Read the comments. Mia scrolled down slowly. I feel so bad for the girl. She handled it with more dignity than him. Who is she? Someone give her a scholarship. This driver and his daughter deserve better. Her eyes filled again. But this time, it was not only pain. There was also a tiny, tiny light. Some people are standing with me, she whispered. Daniel smiled weakly. Good people still exist, he said. Remember that. At the same time, in another office in the city, Grace watched the same video. She paused on Mia's face. There was fear. But also quiet strength. Grace picked up the phone. Call a meeting with the board, she told her secretary. And tell Mr. Carter to be present. We need to talk about his party. Her voice was calm. But her eyes were cold. The next day, Mr. Carter walked into the boardroom. He tried to look confident. But under his suit, his palms were sweating. The big screen on the wall showed headlines. Millionaire Humiliates Driver's Daughter. Public outrage grows. Sponsors demand action. The board members sat around the table with serious faces. At the end of the table sat Grace. Good morning, she said quietly. Mr. Carter forced a smile. Grace, this is all a small misunderstanding blown up by the internet, he said. You know how these things are. Without a word, Grace pressed the remote. The video played again. The room was silent except for his own harsh voice. Your mistake is being born poor. Mr. Carter looked at the table. He could not look up. When the video ended, Grace spoke. Do you know why I invest in this company? She asked. Mr. Carter cleared his throat. Because we make profit. Because of my leadership, he tried to joke. Grace didn't smile. I invested, she said, because this company promised to support education for children from poor families. Your CSR projects. Your We Care for All posters. Your speeches about equal chances. She leaned forward. And then I see this. He opened his mouth, but no words came. Just then, the door of the meeting room opened. Everyone turned. Daniel walked in, holding his cap in his hands. Next to him was Mia. Mia looked nervous, but she stood straight. Mr. Carter's heart jumped. What are they doing here? He snapped. This is a private. Grace raised her hand. I invited them, she said firmly. Mr. Carter had no idea that the girl he humiliated was about to decide his future. The room felt heavy. Daniel and Mia stood near the door. They looked small compared to the big table and big chairs. Come in, Grace said kindly. Please sit. They sat on two simple chairs against the wall. Mia, Grace asked gently, may I ask about you? What do you do? Mia swallowed. Her voice was soft but clear. I just finished school, she said. I got the highest marks in my city in the final exams. I want to study engineering. But we don't have money for college. The board members looked at each other. Mr. Carter stared at her, shocked. You topped the city, one of the board members repeated. Yes, sir, Mia said quietly. My father showed me your company's scholarship program. We tried to apply. But the office guard said it was only 4 special cases, so we left. Grace's face tightened. She turned to Mr. Carter. Do you remember this scholarship program? She asked. He nodded slowly. Yes. We started it. For marketing. I mean, for helping students, he said. But we had many applications. We can't help everyone. Grace stared at him. I checked the list yesterday, she said. Do you know how many poor students you helped last year? Silence. 2, she answered herself. 2 students. Out of hundreds of applications. The rest of the money went to event costs. Parties. Lights. Decorations. Like the party where you insulted this girl. Mr. Carter felt the room closing in on him. He tried to speak. I didn't know, my team handles. No, Grace cut him. You knew exactly what you were doing. You chose image over people. Class over character. She looked at Mia. Yesterday, when you were being insulted, Grace asked, why did you say sorry when you did nothing wrong? Mia looked down. Because my father needs his job, she said. If I argued, he would lose everything. Sometimes poor people have to say sorry, just to survive. Those words hit the room like a slap. One of the board members wiped his eyes. Even Mr. Carter felt something break inside him. He remembered Daniel, always on time, driving him day and night. He remembered ignoring him. Never once asking about his family. For the first time, he felt ashamed. Grace took a deep breath. Mr. Carter, she said, her voice steady. You built a big house. A big company. But you built it on small hearts. That is not how I do business. He looked up at her, panic in his eyes. Grace, please, he said. This will pass. I will post an apology. I will donate money. We can fix the PR. Stop, she said. This is not about PR. This is about who you are when no camera is on. But sadly for you, a camera was on. She turned to the board. As main investor, I am calling a vote, she said. On removing Mr. Carter as CEO, effective immediately. Mr. Carter froze. What? He whispered. One by one, the board members raised their hands. For removal. For removal. For removal. Each word was like a hammer. Finally, they were done. It is decided, Grace said. You are no longer the CEO. Mr. Carter felt the world spin. This company is my life, he said, his voice shaking. You can't do this to me. Grace looked straight at him. You did this to yourself, she replied. He looked at Mia. The girl he had called a mistake. Now she was sitting there, calm, while his own life fell apart. Karma had arrived. Later that evening, Daniel was standing outside a small grocery shop. He had gone to buy rice. His shoulders were heavy. He heard a car stop behind him. He turned. To his surprise, it was Grace, standing beside a sleek black car. Mia was with her, holding a folder. Daniel, Grace said with a warm smile. We were just coming to your house. Daniel panicked. Madam, if this is about my job, he said quickly, I understand. After what happened? She shook her head. You are not losing a job, she said. You are gaining something better. Mia looked at her father, eyes shining. She opened the folder and showed him a paper. Barbara, she said, her voice trembling, it's a full scholarship. For me. Tuition, books, hostel. Everything. From their foundation. Daniel's mouth fell open. For you, he whispered. All paid. Mia nodded, tears in her eyes. Grace added, not as charity. As respect. She earned it with her hard work. We are just doing what should have been done long ago. Daniel's eyes filled. I don't know what to say, he whispered. Say yes, Grace smiled. He nodded again and again. Yes. 100 times yes, he said, his voice breaking. Grace then looked at Daniel. And I would like to hire you, she added, as my personal driver. Better salary. Proper hours. Full respect. If you agree. Daniel covered his face with his hands. After everything, you still trust us, he asked. She nodded. I don't judge people by their job, Grace said softly. Only by their heart. At that moment, another car stopped at a distance. Mr. Carter stepped out. But this time, he wasn't wearing a proud face. His shoulders were low. His eyes were tired and red. He walked up to them slowly. Daniel, he said, his voice small. Mia. Daniel stiffened. Mia looked down. Mr. Carter took a deep breath. I came to say. I'm sorry, he said. For what I said. For what I did. You didn't deserve it. Daniel stayed silent. Mr. Carter's eyes went to Mia. I watched the video many times, he said. Not the one online. The one in my head. I saw my own face. I hated it. I hate the man I was that night. He swallowed. You were just a girl who wanted to see some lights, he said. And I made you feel like dirt. I am ashamed. Mia's eyes filled again. For a moment, no one spoke. Then Mia asked softly, if there was no video, sir, would you still feel sorry? The question hung in the air. Mr. Carter looked at the ground. Maybe not, he whispered honestly. Maybe I would still be blind. So, maybe I also needed this humiliation. Maybe I needed the world to see the truth. To wake up. A tear rolled down his cheek. I lost my position. My name is ruined, he said. That is my karma. I deserve it. But you deserve better. I hope you can forgive me someday. Not for me. For yourself. So this doesn't stay as a wound in your heart. Mia looked at him for a long moment. She remembered his words. The pain. The shame. But she also remembered something else, her father's voice. Good people still exist. She took a deep breath. I forgive you, she said quietly. But I will never forget. I don't want you to forget either. When you see any poor person next time, remember this feeling. Mr. Carter nodded slowly. I will, he said. I promise I will never treat anyone like that again. He turned to Daniel. Thank you, he whispered. For driving me all these years. I never said that before. Then he walked away, alone. No guards. No cameras. No clapping. Just a man facing his own reflection for the first time. Weeks later, Mia stood at the gate of a big university. Backpack on her shoulders. Admission card in her hand. She looked up at the building. Her eyes filled with tears. But this time, they were happy tears. Daniel stood beside her, proud. Go, Beta, he said softly. This is your party now. And here, you belong. She smiled. Thank you, Barbara, she whispered. As she walked inside, she remembered that night in the mansion. The bright lights. The cruel words. The shame. And then she remembered the comments of strangers. The support. Grace's kind eyes. Her father's tired but loving hands. If you were in her place, what would you do? Maybe you would cry. Maybe you would fight. Maybe you would stay silent. But Mia chose something stronger. She chose to rise. Never insult someone because they are poor. Today you have power. Tomorrow, karma may knock at your door. Thinking.